Good evening and welcome to Breaking Today News right here on Switch TV. I am Lincoln Wambogo. Our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas, and these are the top stories. It will be all smiles to the bank from Monday.
The money for the land owners will start to be paid from next week on Monday.
Landowners affected by dualling of Kenol Sagana Marua Road are set to be compensated. Amid the adverse effects of climate change.
Imagine, recreate, restore. These three words should carry us towards the whole year.
Kenya optimistic on achieving success in ecosystem restoration as the world marks Environment Day 2021. Insecurity on the rise across major Nairobi city roads.
Nimewahi experience yo kuibiwa simu. Nilikuwa hizo area za hizi Kochuko Railways na nilikuwa naongea kwa simu. Then after that nikaweka simu kwa mfuko. Actually ilikuwa na zip. Na after that nilikuwa naenda Kitengela. So nikaenda kupanda gari za rembo za Kitengela pale Railways. Kuingia kwa gari hivi kuangalia kwa mfuko sioni simu.
Traffic congestion, especially on Uhuru Highway and Mombasa Road, become key hotspots as phone snatchers take advantage of the traffic menace. We tell you why. Many thanks for tuning in. Our 30 minutes of the broadcast begins now. A total of 1,550 residents from Nyeri and Kirinyaga counties whose lands were shelved in a bid to give way for the construction of the Kenol Marua Road is set to receive compensation come next week Monday from the government. Our very own Faith Wambua with his story.
Compensation awaits landowners whose land was shelved to pave way for construction of the Kenol Marua Road come next week, with the government finalizing plans of offering payment to the landowners come Monday, June 7th, which according to Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia are ready.
The money for the land owners will start to be paid from next week on Monday next week. On the side of Kirinyaga, we have about 650 land owners who will be compensated. 500 of them starting from next week. The side of Nyeri, there will be about 900 land owners. The money is available. We are processing the payments quickly through the National Land Commission.
The cumulative number of those set to receive compensation are 1,550 Kenyans, with 650 of these people emanating from Kirinyaga County and the remaining 900 coming from Nyeri County. CS Macharia has applauded the contractors doing the dual carriage road, stating that they are ahead of the scheduled time, putting across the likelihood of one side of the road being completed come December this year.
I'm happy to say that actually they are ahead of time. So the issue of penalties will not arise. This road was supposed to be done over a period of 3.5 years. But this has been reduced by more than 1 year.
The 84 dual carriage road is divided into two lots, one starting from Kenol to Sagana, which covers 48 kilometers, and the other lot of 36 kilometers from Sagana to Marua, each lot being assigned to a specific contractor who will later embark on upgrading the existing road to highway standards.
They committed that at least one side of the road will be completed by December, so that Wananchi can have at least a dual carriage.
The country's economy has the likelihood of improving with the government's commitment in developing various infrastructure in the country, especially the construction of roads. Faith Wambua, Switch TV.
Thank you, Faith Wambua. Moving on, Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko has lauded the government on its efforts of restoring the country's ecosystem as efforts to mitigate the impacts of climate change continue. This comes the CS led a tree planting exercise, joining the rest of the world in marking the World Environment Day 2021. Meanwhile, UN Environmental Assembly Vice Chairperson Ada Lomas joined members of the public and police in Mwale Machakos County to mark the World Environment Day, taking the opportunity to reveal that the county has adopted a Climate Change Mitigation Act 2021, which seeks to regenerate environmental conservation measures such as tree planting and water sources protection.
This year's World Environment Day motto is reimagine, recreate, restore. Today is the celebration, which gives opportunity to remind us why it is important to have balanced biodiversity, less pollution, and less affected by the climate change.
We've also planted trees at Kasolongo, and we agreed that this is something that should be a daily affair, not just to celebrate the World Environment Day.
Meanwhile, residents of Nairobi County have expressed concerns regarding the high rise of insecurity, especially along certain roads of the city. Roads experiencing high traffic congestion, especially Uhuru Highway and Mombasa Road, have become key hotspots where phone snatchers take advantage of the traffic conundrum for their own selfish gain. Here's Rachel Duarte with that story.
Nairobi, a city that has become the epicenter of crime. Efforts to decongest this city have remained futile as many people take advantage of the situation to violate the law. Traffic congestion has been a major factor in giving rise to a new breed of phone snatchers who steal people's phones and turn to their heels before they get caught.
Nimewahi experience yo kuibiwa simu. Nilikuwa hizo area za hizi Kochuko Railways na nilikuwa naongea kwa simu. Then after that nikaweka simu kwa mfuko. Actually ilikuwa na zip. Na after that nilikuwa naenda Kitengela. So nikaenda kupanda gari za Rembo za Kitengela pale Railways. Kuingia kwa gari hivi kuangalia kwa mfuko sioni simu. So nikaenda hadi kuna police station pale Railways. Nikawaelezea, nikadhani watanisaidia, but unfortunately sikuwahi saidika mpaka leo.
Reporting on stolen phones still remains a pointless affair, as many shy away from doing so due to the long processes and an alleged negligence of duty by law enforcement officers.
I think what is very critical here is that our security agents should be patrolling this town with an aim of cracking down on wrongdoers. What we see happen is that, yes, we have the security personnel walking around, but they are not interested in those who are committing crime.
Commuters say more needs to be done in order to counter this challenge.
Sami tunaweza ambia wa Kenya, ufai kutumia simu. Hizi simu tu ni zetu. Simu haikimbii, hata kama ni message, ngoja tu uta reply baadaye, hata kama ni call, bado tu uta receive. Simu haikimbii. We should just be careful. Hata tunalaumu police, but we should take care of. Hii simu ni personal thing. We don't expect police kuja kutuwekea simu. Sasa sisi wenyewe ndo we need to take care of our things. Polisi wanaingilianga kaa ile yenye mtu amekunyang'anya ndani ya baga ama amekata, lakini yenye mwenyewe una chat una call. Tufai kulaumu polisi.
Nairobians, it appears, cannot do without using their mobile phone devices, and this has made them susceptible and vulnerable to sabotage. Many citizens use this phone device to access information as well as to communicate. Rachel Duarte, Switch TV.
Thank you, Rachel Duarte, for highlighting the vices brewing on Nairobi city roads. As of today, a total of 6,622 have received their second dose of vaccine. Of these, 4,046 are health workers. The other 1,101, those aged 58 years and above, are 709. Teachers are 445, while security officers are 321. A total of 975,265 persons have so far been vaccinated against the COVID-19 disease countrywide. 24 people have succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits on diverse dates in the month of April and May. This pushes the cumulative fatalities to 3,264 as 383 people have tested positive for the disease from a sample size of 3,930 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate now stands at 9.7%. Moving on, most nations receive international dignitaries once in a while, some more often than others. But what really is the weight behind state official visits? Hadia Mosiwa prepared the following report to find the aspect of state visits. Take a look.
State visits have been in the books of history since 24th May 1357, when King John II of France visited London. State visits in the present day are similar, with intentions remaining solid to confirm or affirm the relationship between two states. But what is the difference between a state visit and an official visit? International relations expert Professor Macharia Munene explains.
A state visit is an honor in itself. The way we saw the Magufuli thing, it doesn't happen. That's when they roll out everything to make the person feel good. So there is the official visit is one where they a routine kind of thing. Maybe you have a president or prime minister. The way they do in many inside going to Africa, they combine a lot of little countries in between and keeps on hopping from one to the other for a day or so. Now, those are official visits, not state visits.
Since independence, Kenya has over the years forged friendships with other nations through bilateral relations. Every country has received presidential visits and has made some itself. Former U.S. President Barack Obama was the first U.S. president to visit Kenya, making her among the 16 African nations to host a U.S. sitting president.
Hey! Habari zenu! Wa Kenya, Impio. It is great to be back in Kenya. Thank you so much for this extraordinary welcome. I know it took a few years, but as president, I try to keep my promises. And I said I was going to come, and I'm here.
It is always a feather on one's cap to get the head of government or state of a major power, because it's a statement that there is something positive happening between the two countries. So when Kenya has received some of these heads of state or heads of government, it is a statement that Kenya is important to their geopolitical interests, and noting that Kenya is the regional economic powerhouse, not to mention political powerhouse, communication powerhouse. The UN institutions are here. It is on the equator. So in terms of strategic value, is very big. And so there is some sort of subtle competition not to lose anything in Kenya, because if you lose out on Kenya, you are likely to lose out on the rest of East and Central Africa, or Africa itself.
Survival is for the fittest, and allies are important to a nation. And aside from cementing bilateral ties, nations are like humans and care about polishing relationships. This comes in handy whenever there is a dire need of support in order for a country to elevate itself or even maintain or regain peace within its borders.
So for him to be invited to Madaraka Day celebration was a big honor. He could not let go just like that. And to come, and they also discussed bilateral things, and Burundi not being far within the Lake Victoria region. So the port of Kisumu, which is being rehabilitated, it's not quite complete yet, but once it is fully operational, then you can imagine Burundi might try to shape its things through Mombasa.
Presidents travel to other nations after they request to visit or receive an invite. However, circumstances of death of a head of state or celebrations such as inaugurations also bring together dignitaries from different nations. Regardless of the reasons for travel by a head of state or representative, the intentions are always clear that a friend in need is a friend indeed.
We saw when Kenya was campaigning to join the UN Security Council, and you needed the support of in various countries. It is those sort of contact visits that people remember, yeah, okay, don't worry, we are with you.
The importance of nourishing international relations has been underrated by most individuals. For many, state and official visits are just but lavish trips taken by state leaders across the world, while its crucial importance remains well known to those trusted with the burden of leading a nation. Hadia Mwasiwa, reporting for Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Hadia Masio. When we unite and work together, we can overcome even the toughest of problems. With our story by Hadia Masio, now take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Switch TV. Deputy President William Ruto's speeches in the recent past have been termed by political analysts as an indicator that he is operating as the official opposition in the country. During the Madaraka Day celebrations in Kisumu, while his boss President Kenyatta spoke condescendingly to the judiciary, the Deputy President maintained that the rule of law is a sure way to safeguard the gains that the freedom fighters fought for. As Majibu Kitsao reports, this is not the first speech that triggered some uneasiness in the office of the president.
It is always delightful seeing the three most followed politicians in Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Ruto, and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga on the same podium in different national events. What has been outstanding, however, is Deputy President William Ruto's defiant speeches in front of his boss, the president. The DP has been perceived to as being a sharp-minded politician, humorous, and maybe kind of defiant to his boss in his speeches. But what does this actually mean now that we near the 2022 general polls? Is the DP trying to build a name for himself? Ruto, who in recent times has not been invited in some of the State House events, has been delivering some hammering speeches that most times are in direct conflict with his boss. This year's Madaraka Day celebrations were the icing in a cake that has been cooking for some time now.
From the nullification of a presidential election in 2017 to an attempt to stop the will of the people as expressed through the BBI, the judiciary has indeed tested our constitutional limits.
All celebrate the firm foundation of the rule of law, not the rule of man.
This, however, was not the first time. During the launch of the Building Bridges initiative at the Bomas of Kenya, Ruto requested for clarification on how the document is bringing exclusivity, yet the president will be the same person appointing the prime minister.
I have confessed I'm a scientist and I'm a bit slow. I want you to explain to me in this proposal. You have said that in this proposal, we will have the president with his running mate, deputy president. They will win, or we have candidates, they will win an election, and then the president will appoint the prime minister and the two deputies from the winning coalition. And then we will have the runner-up being the leader of opposition. Now, no problem, it doesn't matter who it is. I have no problem. You know, let us not personalize, there is no problem. Now, the question I am asking myself, have we sorted out the winner-take-all question?
Political analysts are arguing that Ruto is playing at the gallows of the opposition.
I can say that Ruto is currently the opposition without being the official opposition. He is the opposition in that the direction that the government is taking is not his direction. When you take, for example, the BBI, that is being championed by the president. William Ruto is opposed to the BBI that is being championed by the president. And because of that, then it makes him an opposition to government plans.
I believe the president and the DP need to, it's more or less like an ego management thing. I'm in charge, you're an assistant, or someone feels like I'm an equal partner because you campaign together. They need to come together, stop reading from different scripts, because it's more or less personal interests. That is the problem.
In another event during the National Prayer Day, the DP, again in front of his boss, the president, who is also the chief campaigner of the BBI, said confidently that the reggae had been stopped by the High Court.
So much happened, but as things stand today, the Tanga tours are not there, and the reggae has also stopped.
I believe the president and the DP need to, it's more or less like an ego management thing. I'm in charge, you're an assistant, or someone feels like I'm an equal partner because you campaign together. They need to come together, stop reading from different scripts, because it's more or less personal interests. That is the problem.
This is a deputy president and this is a president. The deputy president is the principal assistant of the president. The deputy president should be championing what the president is saying. But in this case, the two directions are conflicting. Why? William Ruto has his own direction to chart.
The two leaders have on different occasions indicated that they're no longer working together. Majibu Kitsao for Switch TV.
Thank you, Majibu Kitsao. It's now time to get sporty with Cedric Oronje.
Now, many thanks for staying with us. My name is Cedric Oronje, and now let's get sporty. 570 men and 161 women have registered for the 42 kilometers race that has a tantalizing prize money of 3.5 million shillings for each category of winners. The 5 kilometers fund race has attracted 107 athletes from individual and corporate entries. The race is returning after 2 postponements because of coronavirus pandemic and has a truly international field. Athletes from Argentina, Austria, Poland, Russia, South Sudan, Taiwan, USA, Uganda, and the United Kingdom will all be looking for a feel of the home of distance running, competing against renowned Kenyans. And now to matters football, where Everton forward Richarlison scored as Brazil beat Ecuador 2-0 to stay top of the South African qualifying group for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Paris Saint-Germain's Neymar got the second way a retaken penalty following a foul on Manchester City forward Gabriel Jesus. The result means Brazil have won all 5 of their World Cup qualifiers. They topped the 10-team South American group with 15 points from 5 games, 4 ahead of second-placed Argentina.
Whipped across, and he takes his chance. It's only half away, and Jackson Mendes drives it back in. It might have gone anywhere. Well, it was a chance. Again there from Neymar, now Richarlison. And it falls for Neymar. And it's held. And there's Richarlison. It is Neymar. It's an awful penalty. Neymar to seal it. Neymar to be sure of making it 5 wins in 5. Will he get it right this time? It's the same stuttering runner.
And still on international friendlies, Italy brushed aside the Czech Republic in their final Euro 2020 warm-up game in Bologna for an 8th consecutive win without conceding a goal. Ciro Immobile drilled in the opener before Nicolo Barella scored their second courtesy of a huge deflection after run from the halfway line. Lorenzo Insigne, on his 30th birthday, swept home from Immobile's pass. Insigne then picked out Domenico Bernardi in space, and the striker chipped in for a 4th.
The shot and the deflection takes in number 2, and Barella. And this could be the moment. It is. Insigne, lovely pass, great chance, and beautifully finished off by Berardi.
And now on matters rugby, where the Highlanders moved past Australian powerhouse Waratahs 59-23 in a heavy enticing encounter that saw the Highlanders draw first blood through Michael Collins following a start of play by Mitch Hunter, leading to a 7-point fully converted try in minute 3.
It away. Here's Harmon running hard. Nice pass back on the inside. They got it away beautifully. And an early strike. But again, good defence. Now Gordon whips it away wide. And on the outside goes Maddox. And
Ferrari's Charles Leclerc took pole position from Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen in a thrilling qualifying session at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Leclerc set his fastest time with the help of a slim trimmer from Hamilton and a red flag on the final runs, securing his second successful pole. Hamilton recovered superbly after a difficult weekend for Mercedes, while Verstappen will be ruining his luck. The session had 4 red flags after a series of crashes on the Baku track.
So that Leclerc got behind Hamilton, really working for him, and ahead even of Max Verstappen.
Now, that is all for now from our sporting desk. On behalf of the team, it's a good night. Enjoy the rest of the programming. God bless. My name is Cedric Oronje. Back to you, Lincoln.
Well, sports news by Cedric Oronje wrap up our news broadcast tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Lincoln Ombogwa. Our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas, and my producer has been Daniel Karaoke. Good evening.